Hello and welcome back. This is week 4 of Football Treasury. I'm Andy White. Look, a lot has happened since I spoke to you last week. Well, we've had the internationals, and what a transfer deadline day it was. A lot of movers and shakers in the transfer market, and many left it right up until that last minute to do their business. I'm talking particularly about Arsenal here. Spurs, Harry Redknapp got his man, Scott Parker in the end. Missed out on Gary Cahill though. United did a lot of their business early on, which was probably wise. Liverpool got Sebastian Coates, and I think the day before the window shut. Stoke City were big movers. They got Peter Crouch and Wilson Palacios, as well as Cameron Jerome. Everton, of course, letting go of Mikel Arteta to Arsenal. They got in the top scorer from the Argentine First Division last season. Not even going to try and pronounce his name, but he came from Tigres. They also got an intriguing loan deal from Real Madrid. They got Dutch winger Royston Drenthe, who I've always thought was a pretty decent player. He didn't really get his chances at the Bernabeu under Jose Mourinho. Arsenal, who we've mentioned, got in Santos, the Brazilian international left-back, notoriously great going forward. Scores 1 goal every 5 games in Turkey, he did at least. Great skill. Question marks remain, though, over whether or not he can defend. Time will tell on that one. Yossi Benayoun was a late loan deal. He didn't even have time to do a medical, so maybe slightly dodgy bit of business, but a great player nonetheless, and vastly experienced at the age of 31. They also managed to get in Park Chu-young, who came from Monaco, who got relegated. He scored 12 goals last season in Ligue 1, despite his side going down, and he looks a real prospect. In the internationals, he scored 4 goals in his last 2 games, so a real star for his country, where he's captain of South Korea. The final signing was Per Mertesacker. 76 caps he's now got for Germany, which is unbelievable. He's 26 years old and 6'6", so all the things that people were crying out for, that they said Arsene Wenger needed to go out and get: experience, height, physicality, age. He's gone out and got them, but not quite the like-for-like replacements for Samir Nasri and Cesc Fabregas, maybe that the fans were hoping for, but replacements nonetheless. To the internationals then, and England just about squeezing through, it looks like. They've got to get a result in Montenegro. They did get the result they needed at Wembley, a 1-0 against Wales, but it wasn't all too convincing. Great bit of skill, though, from Stuart Downing, and a very astute finish from Ashley Young, who's been in fantastic form of late. The Irish got a respectable result in Moscow, drawing 0-0 with the Russians. Northern Ireland got thrashed 4-1 by Estonia. Not good news. Aaron Hughes, the Fulham centre-back and Northern Irish captain, coming out and talking about a really, really disappointing night for his country. Scotland, they did fantastically well to win 1-0 against Lithuania. Man of the match performance from Barry Bannon on his debut, so he's in dreamland there. After they'd been denied on the weekend by Dutch referee Kevin Bloom, who some dodgy penalty decisions. That one finished 2-2. Darren Fletcher came back, captain's performance. He actually missed a penalty in last night's match, so lots of drama for the Scots, but there's still hope of qualification for them. The Spanish really stood out against Liechtenstein. They won 6-0, some unbelievable goals from Negredo, David Villa and Xavi. They looked out of this world. They really seem to have taken over from Brazil as the flair team in the world. And they're just playing some sumptuous football and getting the results as well. They've got a 100% record in qualifying, never mind the friendlies. They win when it counts. Just to read you a few other results then. Italy, been a bit uninspiring, but they're getting the wins that they need. And that's what Italy do, really, isn't it? They get results. But Denmark got a smashing result over Norway. Guess who scored the goals there? Niklas Bentner. Fantastically taken. It just goes to show you when he's played in his natural position of centre forward and not out wide as a front three, and he can really do some damage. Maybe he's not as good as he thinks he is, but good he is. And I expect him to do big things at Sunderland, because first team football is all he really needs. Elsewhere then, the Netherlands got a convincing 2-0 win over Finland. Mentioned Italy, they got that 1-0 win over Slovenia. They could only win 1-0 over the Faroes. So, you know, Italy, slender, but they get the results. Uninspired, though. Latvia drew 1-1 with Greece. Luxembourg got a pretty respectable upset over Albania, 2-1. Luxembourg's tiny, so fantastic result for them. So Hungary won 2-0 against Moldova. Malta and Georgia drew 1-1. It's a good result for Moldova, that one. San Marino lost 5-0 to Sweden, no surprises there. Mentioned Scotland's 1-0 win over Lithuania. Serbia won 3-1 over the Faroes. Petrovic, their coach, is really making some strides with them now. They were quite fancied at the World Cup in 2010, disappointed a little bit. They've got some unbelievable players, you know, the likes of Vidic and Subotic at the back. Obviously it didn't help the country with the political situation over the last 5-10 years, the split with Montenegro. But, you know, they've still got some fantastic players at their disposal. So, really pushing along. In other results, Armenia beat Slovakia 4-0 away from home. Bit of a shock there then. And we mentioned the 6-0 Spain over Liechtenstein. Spain looking imperious as ever. And Switzerland got a 3-1 win over the hapless Bulgaria. So that about wraps it up for our internationals. I'm now going to give you my top 5 signings of the transfer window who I think will make the most impact. Now this includes the ones that were done at the start and the end of the window. First up, I'm going to say Charlie Adam at £8 million is a real snip for Liverpool. What a season he had last year for Blackpool. Really effective player, and I think he's only going to get better. He'll play week in, week out at Liverpool. He's great at those set pieces. He'll provide the service for Suarez and Carroll. So a really good signing there. Elsewhere, it's another Liverpool man, Jose Enrique, £6 million. He was one of the most consistent left backs in the league last season, and £6 million has to be a snip. So great signing there. Elsewhere, Shawnee Wright-Phillips, SWP, good signing for QPR. That's the kind of quality that they need if they're going to stay in this division. Number 4, Per Mertesacker. Been crying out for a physical centre-half. Okay, he's actually not that physical. He's very clean when he wins the ball, and he doesn't get booked very much. But what he is good at is great at reading the game, and he's fantastic in the air. And he was only £7-8 million with the 75 German caps that we've mentioned when he was on the bench for their last international. So it might be 76 now, but regardless, vastly experienced for a 26-year-old. And number 5 for my signings of the transfer window is Ashley Young. £16 million for an Englishman, which we all know you have to pay a premium for nowadays. Looks a snip. So Sir Alex at it again with his deals. He's had a fantastic record of late. He's gone English. He's trying to provide that nucleus of the team. All are young, dynamic, starting to play some really impressive football as well. And what a start Ashley Young's had to the season. People question £16 million price tag, but he's looking every bit worth it, is he not? I mean, some of the goals he scored, particularly against Arsenal at Old Trafford about 10 days back. So those are my top 5 signings of the transfer window. Whether I'm right or wrong, time will tell. There's certainly been some good bargains to be had. A couple of frees, a couple of loans that could prove pivotal. Adebayor, I think, could have a huge impact at Tottenham if Harry can get his head right. Okay, so it's been a bit of a topsy-turvy football treasury this week. You know, lots of different stuff going on. We had the weekend matches. We had matches last night. We have all sorts of complications in qualification. It's all to play for. It could be teams in playoffs. There could be teams depending on what goes on elsewhere. England look fairly certain to qualify, but it could all go pear-shaped, so we won't be counting our chickens yet on that one. So some big transfers going on, lots of money changing hands. Roma were the big spenders in Italy. They got 4 big names in on the final day of the window. So we're all massively excited to see what those players can do. So this has been episode 4 of Football Treasury. I cannot wait for real football, the Premier League, to come back this weekend. It's going to be cool. I will see you next week, where hopefully we will have wrapped up a very exciting weekend's worth of matches. I will see you then.